Every week we ask a question no one dares to ask and take you into a world that might have been. What if I told you there's a whole world of possibilities waiting for us? 66 million years ago, an asteroid wiped out 75% of life on Earth, including the dinosaurs. But what if it missed? For starters, mammals probably wouldn't have become dominant. That means no humans. But obviously, life would still go on. The surviving dinosaurs, including their avian relatives, would continue to rule the planet for millions more years. And some of those species might have developed feathers, bigger brains, and even language. Imagine velociraptors building tools. Now granted, they'd probably still be dangerous as hell. But if some species started developing intelligence along with those opposable thumbs, they might have even started flying in the skies. Over millions of years, these descendants of reptiles could have evolved into intelligent sky dwellers, kind of like how birds are today, except with bigger brains. Maybe they'd have wings like bats though. Either way, it's safe to say that Earth would be a very different place. Let's imagine, for example, that humans did evolve. We'd basically be living in Jurassic Park. Forget being at the top of the food chain. We'd be at the bottom, constantly looking over our shoulders for danger. Cities would need to be heavily fortified, maybe even floating, to be safe from ground predators. Forests would be full of giant carnivores, and farming would be a death-defying challenge. You'd need to bring a whole squad just to plant crops. And don't even get me started on zoos. The entire concept would be moot. They'd be free to roam wherever they pleased, since, the world would be their territory, and we'd be the intruders. To survive, we'd have to learn to live side by side with the king of the jungle, so to speak. So how would we do that? Would we worship them? Would we hunt them? Maybe we'd live side by side, like modern predators who avoid each other. But assuming we didn't wipe them out with pollution or disease, eventually something else would. The asteroid impact 66 million years ago not only wiped out the dinosaurs, it also caused a mass extinction event. Around 75% of all species disappeared, making it one of the biggest changes in Earth's history. It paved the way for mammals to flourish, and eventually gave rise to humans. The thing is though, the asteroid wasn't the only thing that hit Earth that day. A bunch of smaller asteroids and comets also rained down on the planet, causing massive earthquakes, tsunamis, and, of course, global climate change. The impact triggered a chain reaction that sent huge amounts of dust into the atmosphere, blocking the sun and cooling the planet. But not all scientists agree that it was the worst thing that could have happened. Take David Attenborough, for example. Okay, he's not a scientist, but he narrates nature docs for a living. He's basically an expert on nature, and he says that while the extinction event did cause major changes, it also led to some pretty great stuff, like the evolution of mammals and the rise of humanity. Without it, who knows what would have happened. As for the dinosaurs, they were already on their way out, thanks to a bunch of other factors, including volcanic eruptions, changing sea levels, and a warming climate. The asteroid just gave nature a helping hand, or should I say foot. The impact unleashed so much energy that it literally changed the shape of the continents. It also created the Chicxulub crater, which is now home to a whole bunch of weird minerals and bacteria. But the most important thing is that it left behind a bunch of fossils, which tell us all about the creatures that lived before the mass extinction. In short, the asteroid impact was a disaster, but it was also kind of awesome. It's hard to say what would have happened if it never occurred, but one thing's for sure, we wouldn't be here to talk about it. So remember, reality is only one version of the truth. What if there's another? Just a tiny change in history can lead to a completely different present. And if we keep imagining the impossible, we might just find a way to make our future a little bit better. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to keep imagining the impossible every single week.